In today's lesson, we're going to go ahead and learn on how to choose a printer from the Chrome tab as opposed to whenever you print normally. The reason why we would want to be able to do this is to troubleshoot sometimes some printer issues. For instance, the main one is not being able to print after you've pressed print or after you've initiated the print job. So in today's lesson, we're going to learn how to choose a printer and print from that printer. So I guess I'll go ahead and start with showing you where your printer settings are going to be. For everybody who's using Windows 11, which is all of you, you'll click on the four squares down at the bottom in the middle of the page or on the left, depending on depending on how you have it set up. You'll click on Settings. From Settings, you'll click onto Bluetooth and Devices. From Bluetooth and Devices, you'll click on the Printers and Scanners. And in this area, I'm going to enlarge it just so that way everybody can see it. In this area, you'll see every printer that your computer is connected to. For instance, my computer is connected to the Coolidge, Esperanza, and several other printers that are in the SNS network. And the reason for it is I test printers periodically, so I like to connect them to my computer and then do print jobs, and I can see the print job from there from my actual computer. So for me, it'll be different than it is for you. You will only probably have one printer, and yours might be called Cafeteria Manager's Printer. And if you do see that, that's where you will choose. That's where you will choose it. So, for instance, I'm going to choose Coolidge, and I'll choose this one. From here, it tells you the last time you used it, and the last time I was actually ever able to use the printer was back in May when I had it connected to my computer. And from here, you have some options, and these options are real. These are just some of the settings in it, and these are the things to test to see whether or not the printer is actually printing. You can do a print test page. When you do that print test page, it'll spit out or print out a print job on your printer, and that's how you can tell if it's working. If you needed to change any of the properties on it, you can. I wouldn't advise doing so, but this will allow you to be able to choose the way that the print job comes out, whether it's landscape or if it's vertical or horizontal. The order of your pages, you can actually have it direct to choose only to print only odd pages or maybe only the even pages if necessary, or pages on the front and the back. How many pages per sheet you want to print. So, for instance, if you only want one set of copies and you only want 20 of that particular set, you can choose those kinds of settings there. And the paper source, basically paper source just means what drawer it's going to come out of. But these are just the settings in which you'll find here on your computer. But if you're not wanting to do any of this, which is more than likely you're not going to want to, the other place you can make sure that your printer is printing is by choosing by clicking a print job that you want to print to, and then checking to see where that printer is by pressing print. So, for instance, I have a document here. This is just a document that I pulled up online. You're going to click on the print here. And remember how I told you the last time that you're able to go ahead and see every printer that's connected to your printer by going through the settings? Well, you're able to see this in a different way. Here, you'll see that all the printers that I had connected to my computer are now here. So what you'll do is, depending on where you're at when you're wanting to print, you'll press print and then you'll click into this little down arrow here, and it drops down a menu. And every printer that you might have been connected to, you'll be able to see here. Remember how I chose Coolidge the last time? Well, this is what I'm going to do this time. I'll choose Coolidge by clicking onto it. Notice that in the printer window, it shows Coolidge and it's highlighted. That means that that is the printer that you're choosing, and then you'll just go ahead and press print. Now, for me, I'm not going to press print for right now. I'm just simply just showing you on where you can do that at. And all the other settings that it was telling you to do the last time that I was going through, like if you just only wanted to print pages 1 through 5, or if you wanted to print all the pages, if you want it to be an actual size, you can choose how big or small it is. If you want it to print on both sides, also too, if you want it to be portrait or landscape, notice that portrait changes it a little bit here, and then landscape changes it actually a lot more. So you can see that that's the difference between portrait and landscape. If you choose the orientation auto, it'll choose it for you. 9 times out of 10, when you choose auto, it will choose the right format or the right orientation. Since I'm not going to actually print this, I'm not going to press print, but you can, and that's how you'll choose your printer from there. Now, here's a third way to find your printer in case your print jobs aren't coming out. This one might be just a little bit more, there might be more clicks to it, um, and it might be just a little bit more um, uh, less accessible. But this is where I found that most people are actually having the issue. So outside of the other two places that you're not able, or the other two places that you are able to choose the settings for your printer, this is a third place. And the third place is if you're printing from the web. Now, most of the time, you guys, the only reason why you're printing from the web is when you're doing web time clock. And so in web time clock, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up so that way I can show you what's going on. In web time clock, um, you are printing your time cards. Sometimes what will end up happening is that in web time clock, if you're not choosing the right printer, or if a printer has been automatically chosen from a previous print job, sometimes your print jobs won't come out. So in this, if this ever happens to you, the one thing that you'll need to do is make sure that the page you want to print you're going to be on. Then you'll right click with your mouse. When you right click, choose the option that says print, and this is where you'll find all your other print jobs. So for instance, all the print, all the not print jobs, excuse me, all the other printers connected to your computer, this is where you'll find them. It has a similar menu of the previous one that I showed you. So all you have to do is click on that down arrow and then click on see more. This is where you'll find every printer that you've ever been connected to. Remember the two previous times I chose Coolidge? Look at here, Coolidge is showing up again. Also too, it's showing a whole list of other printers along with its IP addresses that you possibly might be connected to, but more than likely look for your own printer. And yours should say Cafeteria Manager, Cafeteria Manager 1, Cafeteria Manager 2, something of that nature, because I've reinstalled some printers on everyone's computers previously, so we're not able to use the previous name, so usually I'll put a number 1 or number 2 behind it. But do look for something called Cafeteria Manager, because that's usually how you'll find your printer. Everybody's printer that's in the SNS network, that has a network printer, which is all the sites, I named it Cafeteria Manager with some variation with a 1 or a 2 at the end of it. That's how you'll know you'll be connected to your right printer. If you don't have that, then obviously you can go ahead and put in a ticket, or you can call me and say, "Hey D, I can't find my printer. Can you add it?" Sometimes what happens is that the computer will purge the printer out of the system after it does an update, and sometimes you'll need to just reinstall it, which is what I do, and I can reinstall it for you. It's very easy to do, and you're not expected to have to do that. But this is the third place where you'll be able to look for your printer. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Coolidge again, and as you can see, it's going to load a preview, and it's just going to show you that it's going to print that this is what it's printing. You can click on the more settings, and remember how I told you that you can choose with the previous two options how you want things to be printed. Basically, if you want it on both sides, if you wanted to have it be letter or legal, if you only wanted to choose one page per sheet, if you wanted it landscape or portrait, how many copies you want, and if you want to do all pages, you can do a custom, you can do all the odds, all the evens. This is just a brief overview of all the things that you can do. And choose a printer on how you can choose them and how to troubleshoot some minor printing issues if they come up. I've had quite a few of these tickets come in where they couldn't find their printer or they thought the printer wasn't working, but what was happening was is that for some reason or another the printer was offline and you just needed to be able to choose it. Again, no one's expected that you have to do these things, but if you do want the day to move a little bit faster because you have a lot of print jobs and you don't want to wait or call on the phone or put a ticket in and you want to try to do it yourself, these are some of the ways that you'll be able to do that. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one.